All right, so while we're at it and we're outside today, I'm going to show you something else that I've added to my Tacoma, part of the Tacoma mods playlist. If you haven't taken the time to go onto my channel and see, there are actually other videos other than just the specific Tacoma video that you're watching, that you've watched that maybe brought you here. But I'm gonna go over tires because I have recently upgraded my tires. Now, I had a street tire that was on here when I bought the truck in January of last year. It's a great tire. That's the Michelin Defender LTX. It was a 265 70/17. I think it came stock with a 265 65/17. I still have the stock wheels. All I did was upgrade the tires now. I was also looking at the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack, which is a great all-terrain tire. The Falken Wildpeak also has a good all-terrain tire, the AT3W I think it is. I can't remember if that's the right model name, don't quote me on that. But anyway, I'm going to show you the tires that I got. Flip this around real quick. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. But hopefully this will just help you if you're looking for a specific type of tire for your truck, and I'll explain why I picked this tire over other tires. So this is the Falken Wildpeak MT. As you can see, these are they do not have this is not a white wall. This is a raised letter or flush letter, so I put raised letter out, but this is the Falken Wildpeak. Now, I said I had the stock wheels. This is my 2011 Tacoma. Now, I do have a 3-inch lift and I have 1.5-inch spacers. You can see either of those in other videos that I've made. That's not what this video is about. This video is about putting on some mud tires. So obviously you can see from the lugs on these tires, these are massive lugs compared to even an all-terrain tire or a street tire. I mentioned that the tires that I had on here before were a Michelin 265 70/17, so that's about a 30, I think it's right at a 30-inch tire, maybe 30.8, 30.6 or whatever. Now this is a 33-inch tire. It's actually technically 32.8. This is a 285 70/17, so I went from a 265 70/17 to 285 70/17, so I've gone up 2 sizes in the tire. Now the tire has no issues whatsoever with clearance in the back. Obviously it does have a little issue with the clearance in the front, and that's that it tries to catch the front lip corner of the bumper. I haven't done any trimming whatsoever, so I'm actually pretty impressed with the fact that I could fit that big of a tire. Of course, I have the 3-inch lift and the wheel spacers. Now, I did 3-inch lift in the front and in the rear, and then I did 1.5-inch wheel spacers in the front and in the rear. The KSP 1.5-inch hub-centric wheel spacers, front and rear. I didn't have any problem with the mount and balance on these tires. These were actually used. I was looking at new and I was going to buy new, but I found such a good deal on some lightly used tires that came off like I think it was a Jeep Rubicon from this year or last year, I can't remember, but the tires actually still had the nibs on them, you know, the little nibs on the rubber itself. The tires actually still had them, and the spare tire had it all the way around. So the spare tire is actually a brand new tire. That tire has not touched the road at all. Now, that spare tire barely fits. I could probably adjust it a little bit just to make it fit a little bit better. The undercarriage for the spare tire is only meant to fit the stock tire, the 265 70/17. I think even if you went to a 265 65/17, I think if you went to a 265 70/17, it might even still be a little bit too tight and you might have to air down. I might be able to air down that tire a little bit that's in the back and get it to fit a little bit better, but like I said, I had Michelin Defender LTX tires on here. That is a strictly street tire. It's a great tire, high mileage, lasts forever, great tire, no problem with it whatsoever. But the hunting land that I go on, as you can see, I'm not mud riding. This is just going off-road, because as soon as I turn off the road and go down to my hunting spot, it's all dirt and mud. And if I go to retrieve a deer from the woods, it's all mud and off-road. And you know, if it's wet, if it's rained at all, it can be a huge mess. So I don't want to get stuck out there, and I mostly use this truck for hunting anyway, and going out to the land. So you know, I'm not doing highway driving. I'm not driving hundreds and thousands of miles to, you know, all street and highway miles. So I didn't need a street tire. Now, I could have gone with the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack. I had those previously in a 33-inch on my 2000 Ram, the truck that I sold to pick up this Tacoma, and it was a great tire. I've been in snow, I've been in mud, I've been off-road. It's got great traction, all that kind of stuff, but I just wanted something a little more aggressive. I think the look of this tire is just a lot more aggressive than the look of a all-terrain tire. Obviously a better look than a street tire. So the tire looks great front and back, you know, with the offset with the spacers and with the lift. Now, as I mentioned, there's just a little spot right here. Probably, you might be able to see that it's a little bit shiny right there where you can see my finger moving. It's a little bit shiny from here to the end, and that's just that little bit right there. That's all that I'm rubbing right now. I pushed the plastic in where it had that little cup at the bottom. I just pushed that in a little bit, and that helped clear the plastic inner fender liner, so I'm not hitting that anymore. But like I said, I'm just catching the very end of this, and I'm doing it on both sides about equal. Just catching the very end of this, so I'm thinking of something as far as just coming down like right here and just making a nice clean line from the corner on the inside over here, coming from this corner and then just coming back and just cutting a little bit of an angle, just cutting both these pieces off, the painted piece and the inner plastic pieces there. Thinking about just trimming that back a little bit just to make it so I'm not rubbing. I know that it's not literally tearing the bumper off, but if I had somebody riding with me and they hear it when I turn the wheel, they would definitely think that something was wrong. Nothing's wrong with the suspension or anything else. It's strictly the tire catching the inside of the bumper on both sides. So that's what I have to trim to make it so that there is nothing rubbing. But these are, you know, these are going to last a long time because I'm not driving constant highway. If I was driving on the highway with these kind of tires, it would definitely be making, it would definitely cut down the time frame that I'd have for the tires to last. The tires that were on here were super quiet. You know, it's a strictly street tire, super quiet tire. Almost, you know, hardly makes any noise at all. The Goodyear Wrangler Duratrax that I had on the Ram, those were 33-inch tires. They were 285/70, whatever the rim was. I think it was a 16. It might have even been a 285/75 on that 16-inch rim to get the aspect ratio right. But anyway, the Duratrax had a nice hum to them. They weren't super loud, but they did have a nice hum to them. When you came up to a stop at a light, they actually kind of rumbled. It sounded like you're almost driving over like a rumble strip. To me, that was actually kind of cool. I liked the fact that it rumbled. It was kind of a growl, like a get out of my way, I mean business kind of tire. Now the Falken Wildpeak mud tire that I have on now, it is not just a light hum on the road, it is actually a howl on the road. On any street it's going to make a pretty good howl. I plan on doing a little bit of a dyno mat, you know, on the inside, do some sound deadening kill mat material, put that down and kind of sound deaden the cab a little bit. It kind of needs it anyway because the cab is kind of so airy and the doors are so lightweight. There's not much insulation at all, so I planned on doing that anyway. Putting the tires on kind of increase that, but I want to do that because the tires howl. It's not just a hum. It still has that same aggressive sound when you're going at slow speeds. It sounds like you're on rumble strips. Some people don't want all the noise. I don't mind it. It just says, hey, this is an off-road mud tire. It just, you know, it kind of reminds yourself that you've got some off-road mud tires, which is a good feeling because of what I'm using them for. If you don't want it, then you don't have to like it. That's not a problem. I like them. I'm cool with that. So I just wanted to show you real quick purchasing these tires. Now, there are other brands that are out there, Nittos. I've used Nittos in the past before, and the tires seem to wear excessively fast, and I don't know if it's just because they're too soft or what. The Duratrax actually have Kevlar in them, so they actually last a little bit longer, and they're really grippy tire. It's a really nice tire. I'd been in like 18 inches of snow with those Duratrax and no problem whatsoever. Actually, on the backside of our neighborhood, there was an old dirt bike track, and my son and I actually drove on the dirt bike track going over the jumps in 18 inches of snow with those Duratrax in two-wheel drive, never got stuck. So we had a great time with those tires. They just, when I sold the truck, they went with the Ram when I sold the Ram. When I bought this truck, it had the Michelins on it, and I knew someday eventually I would switch over and put something else, something more aggressive, maybe even the Duratrax. But like I said, I ended up going with these Falken Wildpeaks. Now, I think these tires, if I was going to mount and balance and all that kind of stuff, they'd probably be somewhere between $1,700 and $2,000 to get all, sorry, did I say 3 tires? 4 tires. If I wanted 4 tires mounted, balanced, all that with tax, I'd probably be somewhere in the $1,700 to $2,000 range. I got all 4 of these tires, like I said, lightly used, and a spare tire that's brand new. I got all 5 tires for $500. So Facebook Marketplace for the win on that one again. Just like the topper, if you watch the video of me doing a review of what topper I bought specifically for my Tacoma. So 2011 Tacoma, it's the TRD Sport, 4-wheel drive, double cab, long bed, all that. 3-inch lift, a torch lift. You can look up Torch brand. You can see my lift video that I did for the torch video, and you can see the installation that I did for the spacers, the KSP hub-centric 1.5 inch spacers, wheel spacers. So if there's any questions that you have, if there's any information that you are looking for, I'm trying to cover all the mods, even ones that I did that I don't even have on video that I did in the past. So kind of doing a little bit of catch up on this one. Thanks for taking the time to watch. I appreciate it. If you could take the time, click like, subscribe to the channel, share the video. If you know somebody that's looking for these tires, give them a little bit of information about these tires. I'll appreciate it. I'll talk to you again soon. Peace.